Paul, a servant of Jesus Christ, called to be an apostle, separated unto the gospel of God. Romans 1, verse 1. Going to talk about being a servant. What does it really mean to be a servant? What does that word even actually mean? If you actually look into the Greek, the word servant there is actually a slave. It is simply someone owned, purchased by someone else. And that's what Paul considered himself to be. We find him stating as such several times throughout his writings, how he is a slave to Christ, he is a servant to Christ. And I would ask you today, are you actually a slave to Christ? I've given my testimony several times, and you can look on the YouTube page and find it. It's about my testimony of God bringing me out of hell. Now, you don't have to believe that. I'm not expecting everyone to believe the words of one man. But in that testimony, one of the things that I declared was my lukewarmness is what landed me in hell. When I came out of that experience and when I came into the church and really decided that I was just going to do whatever it was that God wanted me to do, it wasn't the experience that kept me on the path that I'm on, that initiated that. It is what got that initial jump start and pushed me in that direction. But if it was just that, then surely I would have fallen away a long time ago, because fear has a way of diminishing fairly quickly, losing its hold on people, not being a very good influence. No, what grabbed hold of me was this knowledge, this actually understanding that I am not my own, that I am in fact a slave, that I have been purchased with a price. The price that was paid for me is inconceivable, it is unfathomable. God became flesh, gave up his divinity, suffered unspeakably for my sake, and died. But thank God it didn't stop there. 3 days later, he arose from the tomb. My God literally defeated death, hell, and the grave in order to purchase me and you back. I think that warrants us being a slave. I think that warrants us. Yes, we are children. I understand that. We call him Abba, Father. We call him Daddy. But Paul also identifies, yes, he may be a father, but he paid a price for us, and he absolutely is deserving of our very lives for him. Everything that we are is for him. It ought to be for his glory. All of our talents that we have, everything that we do, every action that we commit throughout the day, it ought to be for the furtherance of his kingdom, for the glory of his name. See, this is where Christianity falls so short. We don't want to be servants. We don't want to be slaves to anyone. And yet in so doing that, we actually become slaves to ourselves, to this flesh. The reality of it is we will serve something in this lifetime. I don't care how independent you think you are. You will serve something. Because when God is taken out of the equation, something comes along and replaces it. Something does become your God. whether it is your own self, your own pleasures, your own sins, whether it's money, whether it's your job, whether it's your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your husband, your wife, your kids. Something becomes your God. Something enslaves you. We are to be slaves to God. If we really believe that we've been purchased by Him, if we really believe that we are His, then it only stands to reason that we do what He commands us to do. We stop fighting against Him. It was my biggest problem for so long. I wanted to fight, I wanted to war against God because I wanted to do my own thing. I wanted just enough of God to where I didn't feel quite so condemned, quite so convicted. But ultimately I wanted to go out and do my own thing. Jesus said you can't serve two masters, and that's exactly what I was trying to do. Folks, it's time we sell out. Quit trying to serve two masters. Quit trying to go and do our own thing. We have emphatically proved that we are not capable of fixing ourselves. We make lousy gods. That is undeniable. And yet we know one who is an awesome God, who is the only true God, who is the only loving, caring God. It's Him we ought to serve. It's Him that we ought to devote our very lives to, no matter what the cost. Will it make us unpopular? Absolutely it will. Jesus said that they hated Him, they'll hate us for His sake. This isn't a popularity contest. We can't seek to please the world. We can't seek to please people. We've got to seek to please God. We've got to do what He commands us to do, guys. There's a world that's out there, they're dying, they're going to hell. It's because the church has lost its effectiveness. I believe in large part that's because we put everything before God. We put our jobs before church. If we have a headache, we can't come to church, but we can sure go to Walmart. And I say that because I was the same way. I was exactly the same way. Until I actually had a real experience. An epiphany, if you will. And I realized I can't keep doing my own thing and call myself a Christian. I really can't serve two masters. We need to start becoming a slave to Christ. I've been Isaiah Wilson. Thank you for watching. God bless you.